Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about one of the most important projects in Melbourne transportation, and that is the North East Link. The North East Link is a multi-billion-dollar project that will connect Melbourne's ring road network. And this is a very expensive project and will take many years to build. And we're here to see whether it helps with our congestion. Now, if we look closely at the project, there are a few intersections that may drive traffic into the new road. Now, it may be a short-sighted decision because people have concerns that more peak traffic will direct onto the Eastern Freeway towards the city end, onto Hoddle Street. And many interchanges I found are actually near the train line, the Hurstbridge line, which, due to some single track sections, can have a very mediocre service. And this may affect how people travel when the road opens. Now, most of the outer sections of the Hurstbridge line have a very poor service due to the single track, and they are very hopeless if you want to catch a train. And most people that live out in the outer areas would drive a car, and in those areas the major through point through that area is the Greensboro bypass. There's alternative back roads that also lead to the city, but the major road is the Greensboro bypass, which is a key interchange as part of the North East Link project. Now, most of this traffic will then direct onto this new road. This may drive more traffic into the CBD. Now, does this actually help with our congestion? Well, it depends. There's also an interchange on the Eastern Freeway. This actually can drive traffic to bypass the CBD. But at the same time, it also allows the traffic from those main arterial roads that are next to the North East Link to head into the North East Link and use the Eastern Freeway towards the city, driving more peak hour traffic onto an already congested part of our freeway network. Now, is public transit the alternative to the area? Now, I've looked at this and it depends. For traffic heading into the CBD, public transport will work very well in the area. But if you want to bypass the CBD, public transport is pretty rubbish. It's pretty expensive. Unless you build a whole ring rail system, it's gonna be quite expensive to build. And we're just looking at a 30 years perspective. And in this perspective, ring railways are just very time consuming and costly, and they can't be delivered within that time frame. Now, as for the urban growth boundary, does it support a rail line? Because the housing developments support a rail line, because if there's not enough housing to support a rail line, then it wouldn't be worth building. So is the Doncaster rail line suitable for the area? And for the moment, it is controversial, and people think it is, but some people don't. But I don't think it's enough to do it right this instant, because the current system has bottlenecks, such as between Clifton Hill and the CBD, there's need to be serious upgrading along that corridor to enable a line through Doncaster to use that corridor. And also, to get the rail line right into the centre of Doncaster, you would have to use a lot of tunnelling. If you put money into the future by allowing the corridor to be bought up housing over a period of time, the Doncaster rail line may be suitable into the far future. But because Victoria is known for the long-term planning, this is very unlikely to happen. Now, is a busway that's being proposed a waste of money if the rail line is actually feasible? Well, the busway itself should have been built ages ago when the smart bus system was implemented. And honestly, I think the busway could have been done in other opportunities before this toll road was announced. But as it is, it's a great idea to have the busway so buses can bypass the car traffic. But there's problems with that because how is it going to be implemented? How is it for the future? There's obviously there will be a rail line in the future, so how is that going to be future-proofed? But at the moment it's not a waste because it will take a while before a rail line is decided to Doncaster, if ever built. And is there a need to add capacity between the Clifton Hill and the city with like a metro tunnel or such? Yes, eventually a metro tunnel may be needed, but it's better sooner than later to get it built because Mernda corridor is a very busy line because it will be to Mernda very soon, and it's growing up in the north, and the line will need to be separated very soon, as well as Hurstbridge is also getting many upgrades as well. And I personally think that an airport rail line and the Metro 2 tunnel project should go ahead very soon as possible and be finished in the early 2030s, because these projects are very important to me because they allow a lot of segregation of the rail network. And how would you choose the funding for the North East Link? Like, where would the funding come from, and how would it affect future projects? Well, the North East Link is mostly private funding, and for users on the Eastern Freeway will get majorly affected due to the disruption and maybe more traffic into the future when the road is built. It's too early to tell how this would affect public transit, but I'm not very sure at the moment. Do you think the North East Link is great? Well, my views is mixed on the project. There's good things by linking the ring road for trips on the non-peak that bypass the city. The ring rail network gets a lot of people talking, but it's more long-term before we can consider that. The issues I can see is basically what everyone sees, is the extra demand and pressure onto the Eastern Freeway, and maybe affecting walkability in some areas where the freeway is getting built. A major complaint is the busway for me, because I feel like it's just thrown in the mix and the rail line is uncertain, and it's a very complex issue and it may need more investigating into the future. So I hope you are okay with my personal explanation of the North East Link, so enjoy.